Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial of Mathematics. In this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to calculate the IQR or the interquartile range of a data set. So remember back to range. So range is a key word. So we just heard interquartile range. We're doing range again. So remember what range is. Range is just telling us how much the data is spread out. And so it's how much the data is all spread out, and all it is you're taking the greatest value and subtracting the lowest value. Or in other words, you're taking the maximum value, subtracting the minimum value. So we're doing that to find how spread out is our data. Is it very close together or is it very far apart? And so the interquartile range is the exact same thing, but you use two different numbers, and it is talking about the spread of the data in the center. We're talking about inside the data, the numbers in the middle. How spread out are they? Range, on the other hand, does the outside or the overall data. How much does all of my data vary or how spread it is? So interquartile range. If you look right here in the top right corner, IQR is Q3 minus Q1. So it's just like the range equation. You're doing greatest minus least. So in this case, it's Q3 minus Q1. That is my upper quartile subtracting my lower quartile, or my third quartile subtracting my first quartile. So just make sure to remember that as we go through this problem. So let's go ahead and do two problems. We're going to do the speed of one horse and the speed of another horse, and we're going to compare their interquartile ranges together. So if you look at the steps right here, we're going to follow these steps in order to get the IQR. So again, this is what we're going to be finding out, our IQR. So let's go ahead and first find the median. So find the median of the entire data set. This is the middle quartile. So that's the middle of my data. You don't have to calculate it. You just have to find the center of the data for reference. So let's go ahead and find that. So when we first have a data set, you have to order it from least to greatest, always. So if you look at this table, even though it's not a list of data, it's still just like a list of data. We're just going to take them and rewrite them. So let's see, the lowest value is 24. The next value is 29. I see 33, 39, 40, another 40. And you want to keep this consistent so you don't make a mistake like Mr. M does sometimes. And that's okay though, you can make mistakes just as long as you figure them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I did it correctly. Now we're going to move on to the second step. Find the median of the lower half of the data set. So actually, sorry, you have to find where the median is on this first. Find the first median. So we're going to just cross them out. I have 2 numbers in the middle. You don't have to find the median, you just need it for reference. I know that this is even. It's an even data set. There's 10 or 8 numbers. So this is where I'm going to divide my numbers up to be able to find my lower quartile and my upper. So now find the median of the lower half of the data set, our Q1, our first quartile. Let's do that. I'm only focusing right here, so I'm going to rewrite them. 24, 29, 33, 39. And now I'm going to find my middle number or my median. There's 2 numbers in the middle. I have to add them. So again, why do I add them? Because they're both in the middle. We're finding the number in the very middle. Now I have to also divide them by 2. Why do I do that? Because there's 1 number, 2 numbers. There's 2 numbers. That 2 goes right here. So now if I use a calculator, I should get 62 over 2. And so 62 divided by 2 is 31. So I have found my Q1 on my first quartile. Q1 is 31. Now let's go ahead and do that, and we're going to do that for the upper. So I'm going to do that in orange. That's the third step. The third step is to find the upper half of the data set, the median of the upper half. And that's just our upper quartile or our Q3. So I'm going to rewrite them 40, 40, 41, and 43. And again, cross them out. I see there's 2 more numbers in the middle. I'm going to add them together. Again, because there's 2 numbers being added, I'm going to divide by 2 because it's like taking the average, like we did with mean. 40 plus 41 is 81 divided by 2. So 81 divided by 2 is 40.5. So that's my Q3. My Q3 is 40.5. Now I'm going to find my interquartile range, what we're trying to find, and that's the first example. So now we're going to find IQR. IQR is just taking Q3 and subtracting Q1. We just found those. So I'm going to take 40.5 and I'm going to subtract 31. So when I subtract the 2 of those, I get 9.5. So let me double check. 40.5 minus 31. 9.5. That is my interquartile range. I found the first one. Now let's do the second example. Again, that's for horse 1, and that just means 9.5 miles per hour. That's how spread out his data is in the middle of the data. So let's go ahead and do horse 2, a second example. So let's do the same colors. First, we're going to find where our middle number is. So I just want to make this a little bit easier in the sense that I don't want to show you the same example twice. So I notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to take away this number right here. We're actually going to do a data set like this. Okay, this is our data set. I'm just changing it. So instead of that many numbers, we're going to have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to have 9 numbers. Now let's do the same process. First, list it from least to greatest. 21, 28. Then we have 31, 39, 31, 39, 41, 41, 42, 42, and 43. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're good. Now let's keep going. I'm going to now find on the second step, I'm going to find where first I'm going to find where my median is. I'm going to cross them out. I keep getting too far ahead of myself. Cross them out until we get to one middle number. The middle number is 41. So remember, when we have a number in the middle that is a single number, we are only going to use the numbers to the left of it to find the lower quartile, and then the numbers to the right of it for the upper quartile. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to find our lower quartile in blue. We're finding our Q1. We're not including this. We're not including that. We're going to have 21, 28, 31, and 39. And again, I'm just going to find my middle number, my median again. 28 and 31 is going to be added together. I'm going to divide by 2. Again, I'm going to divide by 2 because there's two numbers. Two numbers goes here. And then now I'm going to add those together. 28 plus 31 is 59. So I should have 59 divided by 2. And if I use a calculator, I should get 29.5. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do the upper quartile or my third quartile. I'm going to do that in orange, the same process. I'm not going to include that middle number. And so now I'm going to do this one. Again, I'm going to rewrite them. 41, 42, 42, 43. Oops. And again, I'm not including that number that's circled because it's not part of this upper half of the data. Again, cross them out. Find your middle number. Right there, 42 divided by 42. So 42 plus 42 divided by 2. Again, there's two numbers. I'm going to quickly erase this over here. That's just the same thing. So 42 plus 42, that's 84. And then you're going to divide it by 2. So if I check my calculator, 84 minus 2 is 82. Sorry, Mr. M can't speak. I meant to say 84 divided by 2, not subtracted, is 42. There we go. So 42. That is my Q3. So now I have my Q3. So I'm going to rewrite them. Q3 is 42. And then in blue, my Q1 is 29.5. Now I'm going to find my interquartile range. So that's going to be with purple. Again, my IQR is going to be Q3 minus Q1. I'm just going to subtract those. I'm going to take that 42, put it right here. And I'm going to take that 29.5 and put it right here. So that's going to be 42 minus 29.5. So if I do 42 minus 29.5, I should get 12.5. And that is my interquartile range of my second horse. That is 12.5 miles per hour. Now if I compare them, my first horse has a IQR or interquartile range of 9.5 miles per hour, and my second horse has one of 12.5. So the second horse, because it has a bigger interquartile range, its data is more spread out. But because this one, 9.5 up here, is smaller of a number, it's less spread out. So if I was to bet on one of these horses at a race, I would likely bet on the first one because he keeps his speed consistent, more consistent and less spread out as the second horse. So the first horse is more likely to go the speed that his average speed is, while the second horse is likely to vary more. So that's what I mean by that. Now let me show you again what spread means, but with a physical demonstration. So let's say I have some money in my hand, and it's all spread out. You notice, look at the money on my hand. If you look at the money on my hand, it's all over the place. They're not connecting. That is very spread out. But if instead I have them close together, they are now all together in one pile. They're not very spread out. And so that's what I mean by spread. And that's what we mean when we're talking about range and interquartile range. We're talking about how close the points are or how far apart they are. I hope this helped you out to understand how to find interquartile range. Again, I just went over 2 examples. Please keep practicing and you will get there. So I want to ask you, which horse would you bet on based on that information? Have a great day.